get started, make sure you have a clean and clear working area. You may need to wipe off the counter. I have wetted this washcloth with hot water and a little bit of soap, wrung it out, and going over my countertop. Get out all needed equipment, including a cutting board, grater, bowl or plate, parchment paper or aluminum foil, a liquid measuring cup, a skillet, cookie sheet, pizza cutter, paring knife, and a spatula. Get out all needed ingredients, including half a pound of ground beef or turkey, half a block of cheddar cheese, green onion, flour tortillas, about half a tortilla per person, cooking spray, salsa, and salt and pepper. This recipe calls for only half a chunk of cheddar cheese and half a pound of ground beef. You can also use ground turkey. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my cheese and meat in half at this time. I've got my cutting board. This wasn't on the supply list, but here is a serrated knife. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on end and just eyeball about half a chunk of cheddar cheese and then half a pound of ground meat. And I'm going ahead and doing this on a plate instead of the cutting board to avoid cross-contamination. You'll want to take your other half of your meat and other half of your cheese, put them in plastic baggies or wrap them with plastic wrap, put them in the fridge for later use. It's helpful to write dates on your opened food so you know when you opened them. Ground meat is only good for about 3 to 4 days in the fridge after you have opened it, and cheese will stay good for about a month after opening it. Preheat oven to 375 degrees. Before you preheat the oven, make sure there's nothing already in the oven. Use a liquid measuring cup to measure out half a cup of salsa. Make sure you get down at eye level and pour to the line. Turn your burner on to medium high heat. Mine is going to be around a 7. Put ground meat in your skillet and start chopping up. Make sure to throw this wrapper away right away. Now, you can use a spatula if that's what you have at home, and go ahead and start breaking it up. If you've got a non-stick skillet like I do, make sure you're not using any metal utensils in the skillet, as you can scratch the surface. You can use a spatula, or if you happen to have one of these handy dandy mix and chop type utensils, you can use that as well. Go ahead and just get it chopped up just a little bit to get you started, and then wait till it starts to sizzle and brown before you chop it up some more. Once it starts to brown up a little bit, now it's time to add your seasonings, your salt and pepper. So go ahead and just lightly season all the meat, salt and pepper, however much you desire. Don't put too much. And then continue chopping. You want to get your meat as fine as possible. Continue cooking until the meat is completely browned. You might need to have an adult or older sibling check for you, but there should be no more pink in the hamburger. That looks good. If you are able to, drain the extra grease from cooking the hamburger meat. Carefully hold the lid so that there's just a slight opening, and then very carefully hold over a can or jar and let out just the grease, not the hamburger. And then wipe the edge off carefully with a paper towel as the skillet is hot. If you don't have the ability to drain the grease, that's fine. Your meat will just be a little bit greasier. Keep your burner on and go ahead and add in your salsa. You may need a spatula to help scrape it out of the jar. And then with your spatula or a spoon, again, make sure not to scratch nonstick skillets, go ahead and stir in your salsa to coat all of the hamburger. Let it cook for another minute or two to get the flavors permeating into the meat, stirring occasionally. Once you've let it cook for a little bit longer, go ahead and shut your burner off and take your skillet off the heat. Using a cutting board and pizza cutter, cut your tortillas into 8 equal slices like you would a pizza. You can stack them on top of one another, and if you don't have a pizza cutter, you can always just use a knife. Next, line your cookie sheet with parchment paper if you have it. If not, you can always use foil. And if you don't have either, you can go ahead and just use the plain cookie sheet. Lining it will just help make less mess to clean up at the end. Then go ahead and place your tortilla slices on the cookie sheet. And next, spray with nonstick cooking spray. Just a light coating will do. Shake it up. This will help to make the chips nice and crispy. Make sure your oven has reached its preheating temperature of 375 degrees. Then carefully put your pan of chips into the oven. Make sure to open all the way. Right now we don't need oven mitts because the pan is not hot yet. Carefully slide them into the middle, not touching the rack. Close it up and set your timer for however crispy you would like the chips. You're going to need to be at least 5 minutes, probably closer to 7 minutes for crispier chips. I'm going to do 6 to start. While your chips are baking, you'll want to go ahead and grate your cheese and cut your green onions. So I've got a grater placed over a bowl here. Some of you might have a box grater to put up inside of the bowl. Go ahead and open your cheese slightly, and you can use the plastic to hold on to while you grate the cheese. Careful at the end when the cheese gets really small so that you don't scrape and shred your fingers. Might need to take these extra few scraps and just have yourself a little snack. Now it's time to cut your green onions. I have already used some of my green onions for another recipe, so normally these would be about the full length of this cutting board. If you have a fresh batch of green onions, you can go ahead and just use one full length. I'm gonna go ahead and use, I think, 3 for mine. Go ahead and wash them, dry them with a paper towel, and then cut them. For cutting the green onions, you will want to use a paring knife. Mine here, you wanna make sure you know which is the sharp side. Place that down on your cutting board. Line up your green onions. You will only have one. If you have more than one because you like green onions, or you have half green onions like me, go ahead and pinch them together. And then with your finger on top of the blade and other fingers kind of in a claw to the other side, go ahead and carefully, nice and slowly, cut these into about 1/8 to 1/4 inch pieces. You only want the green part, so once you get down into the whites, you can go ahead and throw these away or put them in a compost pile if you have one. This is our 6-minute timer for our chips, so time to check them. Go ahead and shut timer off. Make sure you don't shut oven off. Get your oven mitt or hot pot holder ready to go. And go ahead and get in here and check. You might want to turn the light on. Mine are not quite as crispy as I would like them, so I'm going to go ahead and set my timer for another few minutes. We'll do 3 to 4. Doesn't hurt to make them a little bit more crispy. There we go. When your chip timer goes off again, go ahead and shut that timer off. Get your oven mitt on and check them out. Oh yeah, those look much better. They're kind of lightly browned and puffy. Time to take those out. Make sure you use an oven mitt or hot pot holder. Take them out, carefully put them on your stovetop, and close the door. You can go ahead and leave your oven on at this time because you will need it again here in just a few minutes to help bake and melt the cheese. Now time to put it all together. So create an assembly line with your chips, meat, cheese, and green onions, and get to topping. Once all your chips are topped, time to put them back in the oven to melt the cheese. Make sure to hold your tray steady so they don't fall off. Use your oven mitt, place back in the oven, and set timer for another 2 to 3 minutes. Go ahead and put your oven mitt back on. Open your oven all the way. Take a look. That looks pretty good. If it's not melt enough, you can add another minute or so. Carefully take them out and put them on top of your oven and close it up. Go ahead and shut your oven off at this time. You'll need your spatula again to serve your nachos. I had to wash and dry mine because it had raw meat on it, so be careful of that and wash and dry it if needed. Go ahead and serve up your nachos. Approximately 4 nachos per person is a serving size. Set your table with everything you'll need, including napkins and something to drink. Also, if you have other things at home you want to have with these nachos, like sour cream, guacamole, or more salsa, feel free to add that in as well. Then eat and enjoy while they're hot. When you're all done eating and enjoying your yummy nachos, make sure to Wash, dry, and put away all your dishes. Rinse the sink out and leave it all clean. Wipe off your counters and stovetop and any other surfaces that got dirty. Be sure to sweep your floor if anything fell on it. And lastly, I hope you have fun, enjoy making these, and please share with me how they turn out.